Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us. We're tracking big rainmakers on the way for Australia and New Zealand as well. Up in the tropics, we've got the usual easterly winds, few showers, few downpours up there, but nothing too significant at the moment. But further to the south, in the Tasman, we've got this big low pressure zone moving in towards New Zealand. It is falling apart. It's followed by a new one that's forming and another low out here in Western Australia. Australia's getting a cool down, whereas New Zealand is warming up as northerlies continue. So this is the forecast as we go through Wednesday. There is that low pressure zone. It's small but quite potent, but it is falling apart. So it's going to fall apart as it moves into the west coast of the South Island. Meanwhile, there's a new low pressure zone forming here with downpours, showers across that southeastern corner. And then we've got a new low pressure zone moving through into the central part of Australia. So it's a bit of a dynamic weather map. There's a lot going on. On Thursday, that new low coming out of Australia deepens. The other low moving into the west coast arrives but falls apart. And then we've got that third low pressure system coming in through central parts of Australia. So we've got quite an active couple of days coming up. By the way, it'll be cooler in Australia because of this southerly coming in. So southerlies coming through for Australia, dropping your temperatures here on Thursday. In the New Zealand side, northwesterlies out of the subtropics, out of Queensland, so it's going to get hot. It's already hot. There are parts of the South Island, the interior, a large portion of it, over 8 degrees above normal at the moment. So as we get in towards Thursday, we might be seeing that go up even further above normal. So Friday gets wet. That's when the rain comes into New Zealand. It moves up the west coast pretty evenly. Strong northwesterly winds, might be severe gale in a few areas, in the usual sort of mountainous areas and some coastal zones. But Friday's definitely a change. And probably the biggest change is that New Zealand is going to be going back to westerlies. We had a lot of easterlies last week, gale force at times. Now it's reversed. It's back to kind of the usual spring westerlies as we go into Friday. And we've got this low pressure zone finally moving in. New South Wales, ACT, Queensland and Victoria all being impacted by downpours and, of course, those colder southerlies on Friday spreading further out to the eastern side. So this weekend, colder over here, southerly winds, low pressure zone making it rain all the way up to about Sydney and northern parts of New South Wales. A weak high pressure zone down here to the south, and that's going to encourage a colder southerly in Southland, Otago, maybe Canterbury as well as we get into Saturday. A few showers moving into Canterbury. They will be welcome, I'm sure, for the farmers and growers because it is quite dry down there. And we've got some wet weather around the North Island on Saturday, and if you think that's the end of it, we've got this system still to come on through. So on Sunday, that's quite a dramatic looking map, quite a large low moving through, stretching all the way to Sydney on one side and Auckland on the other. So it is quite a sizable system filling up the entire Tasman Sea. So the rain's coming back to the western side of New Zealand, especially into the afternoon on Sunday. You've got those big, strong northerlies. There'll be gale force in some areas, in the usual sort of areas through the mountains, for example. And then on the other side, that blue line comes back showing cold air from the Southern Ocean. This is the cold stuff that mixes in. And so you'll be really feeling that in Melbourne and Hobart as you get into Sunday. Sort of more wintry for you guys on that side, but much warmer on the New Zealand side with those northerly winds coming through. But next week, the westerly winds return to the New Zealand area after sort of not really being around for a couple of weeks. We had easterlies last week. So yeah, get ready for the westerlies returning and the wet weather. It is spring after all. We'll see you tomorrow.